not just a forest burning. This is almost a cemetery because all you can see is dead.
The biggest problem now facing the world is climate change.
Greenland has impacts all around the planet. 1 billion tons of ice lost here raises sea levels all over the world.
If we don't figure out how to do something about this, and pretty quickly, we're going to hit a catastrophic tipping point.
It is just terrifying, really, how absolutely endless the line of fire is.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Good morning, doctor.
Hello. How are you?
I am doing terribly. Don't even get me started. Recently, I watched this speech, Greta Thunberg's How Dare You, where she talks about climate change and the inaction of our world leaders, and it's given me a lot of anxiety.
I see. You know, that speech, I don't know if you know this. I was actually there at the summit.
No, you
I was
weren't.
there. Yes, I was. I was supposed to be in the video.
Doctor.
I was there, so I have a slight idea.
So you know a bit about Greta Thunberg and this whole climate crisis.
I actually don't know much about her.
Well, the BBC actually did an article about her. She's a young activist. She started her activism in 2018 when she was only 15 years old with a school strike for climate change. She's stood up in front of the European Parliament. She did that in 2019 to call out their inaction there. And then she gave her How Dare You speech that same year at the UN Climate Summit. So she's done a lot, and she's gained a lot of recognition as
That's the one I was at.
That's the one you were at. Okay, I understand.
But this is not about me.
Thank you. Her speech, I thought it was really, it's still relevant today, honestly, because the World Meteorological Organization, they actually did a study on the climate atmosphere that year in 2019, and they called it the second hottest year on record since 2018, and it's only getting worse every single year that leaders don't take action on this issue.
That's true. And speaking of world leaders, those were the people that were actually there. It was CEOs of over 80 companies, 150 climate investors, lots of world leaders, youth climate activists, representatives from indigenous communities, a lot of people.
Therapists, too.
There were who?
Therapists. But even though all of these people, important people who could make change showed up, it just seemed at the time that they weren't ready to take it seriously, actually, with concrete plans.
It's very true. The U.S. only brought one representative, Donald Trump.
And he was very briefly there.
You know, there's a picture of Greta Thunberg staring very intensely at Donald Trump. I was there.
You saw the stare? That's iconic.
They cut me out of the photo, but that's okay. It didn't,
Why would they do that?
It didn't really, it was whatever. Anyway, it resonated with you because you yourself are a young activist.
That is very true. And I think Greta knew that her age would play a factor when she gave this speech. She knew that she'd probably be underestimated. And she was aware of her audience and who she was talking to. And I think that also impacted the way that she gave her speech.
I see. And I completely agree. I mean, when it happened, once again, I was there. When it happened, it was in such a time where we had over 30 years of climate evidence and we were not taking any action. So I guess she speaks for the frustration of other young activists because at the moment, lots of pressure was on young activists. And when she's speaking after the speech, directly after, I remember my Twitter, I have 71 followers. My Twitter,
more than me.
Thank you. My Twitter was flooded because she wasn't just talking to these world leaders. She's talking to the world.
Because it was broadcasted globally. So it did get a lot of polarizing reactions, I'd say.
Yes, it did.
Did you see when Fox News called her
a mentally ill Swedish child
ridiculous?
And then I remember that Donald Trump had posted a tweet where he says, "Chill, Greta, chill."
I actually have no words.
We were actually in the Paris Climate Agreement. Then Donald Trump had removed us in 2017 during his first administration.
We rejoined during Biden.
Yes, we did. I remember that. And then we were pulled out again. So this is actually why she's giving this speech, because she's such a young girl. And I remember when you were 16.
Bad year.
Not a good time.
No.
Not a good time. And as a 75-year-old woman myself, I will speak from experience. Feeling when you're very young, you feel very ignored. You don't feel very heard.
Very
So
true.
her giving this speech, she's speaking up for the millions of people,
Mhm.
millions of young people
Who will be left to deal with the consequences?
who will be left to deal with the consequences.
Yes.
But although she did get lots of hate, she got lots of love from
Lots of love.
educated individuals such as myself.
Exactly.
Such as myself.
Scientists, other activists. Like
Exactly.
ecologist Bill McKibben, I love the way he put this. He said that Greta's speech changed our sense of what's normal and natural and proper. And I couldn't agree more. That's how I felt when I watched it. I felt changed after watching her speech over 20 times. And along with that, naturalist Sir David Attenborough, he said, "You have aroused the world. I am grateful to you," when talking about Greta.
Exactly. Because that speech was so enlightening. She speaks with a direct assertiveness, but such a calm demeanor.
Yes,
And
very much so.
she during this speech, like you said, she was 16. When you were 16, you did have terrible anxiety. And
I still do.
We're working
We're
on that.
working on it.
You're such a
It
state
had to
of
be on the
distress.
record.
It
I
had
know
to be on record.
it's really brought me down. This
Yeah.
whole
I won't
climate
necessarily send this to any research labs without your consent. So anyway,
remember HIPAA. But I guess you can say her speech had split reactions, but there's no denying she definitely sparked this conversation that needed to be had.
she did, because especially she did that knowing she was 16. She must have been so deeply afraid. It is so intense being up on a stage like that, speaking in front of so many people. But she does that so well through the language and the delivery in which she says it. She knows she's using her age. I remember that. It was so passionate. I had goosebumps. I cried.
Mm.
I cried.
Oh, did you really?
Many people cried.
Oh,
I shed
maybe.
many tears in my own life, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway,
Oh.
So the passion that she has
Mhm.
in her voice kind of contrasts her demeanor as when she's speaking. She sits very still and she's looking directly at the crowd, and she has a very intentional message. She's here to remind world leaders that they are to blame. When it began, they asked her, "What's your message to world leaders today?" And she immediately says,
My message is that we'll be watching you.
That definitely set the tone. She's
Incredible.
accusing all of the people before her.
Incredible. And you know what? She uses repetition many times during the speech
Yes,
with
probab-
the line, "How dare you?" which is
Mhm.
accusatory. And she uses lines like,
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
"I shouldn't be here. I should be on the other side of the world in school. You have failed us." Or she's saying you. She's accusing the crowd itself, which is so revealing and so telling.
She's using pathos really well here too. She's holding the
Yes.
world leaders accountable. She's making them feel pressure
Especially
and trying to gain sympathy because
exactly.
of the situation.
And although the speech is only under 5 minutes, I'm pretty sure it's 4.5 minutes.
It feels much longer.
Much longer because of the intenseness that she's speaking with. The truth that she's saying. She has the metaphor.
And all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth.
She's trying to expose this delusion of world leaders. What seems important on the political stage is not. What is our ecosystems, our planet that we live on. We have to protect it.
Exactly. And she speaks so well. But then she later goes on and uses logic, with the amount of scientific evidence that she brings. And
The world had 420 gigatons of CO2 left to emit back on January 1st, 2018. Today, that figure is already down to less than 350 gigatons.
in this specific moment, it felt like she was speaking to these educated individuals. Because although we might not act on it, other educated individuals like myself, we do have knowledge of what it might look like. And she's confronting them with evidence that they clearly know. This is not necessarily language that the average person might know, but they do. So
Yes.
it once again pulls the world out of it, and it reminds us who she's actually talking to.
Yes.
Very powerful.
I think when she uses these scientific numbers, that all of her the language that she uses, and the way that she delivers it. I mean, she has her pleading tone when she's talking about the science of it all. She makes pauses after key statements to let it really resonate with the audience. She has minimal body movement, but she stays very composed and she stays genuine, and it keeps the attention on her message, I think, rather than herself.
Exactly.
Which I really admire.
Exactly. And the media, like we had said before, tried to twist that. But what matters now is the words that she says. There's a reason why the title is How Dare You?
Mhm.
And it's stood the test of time, truly. I love the speech every time I listen to it.
Oh, I love it more
because
every time.
It's so passionate,
Mm.
but so angry. There are times where, although she's really calm throughout the most of it, you can see how exasperated and how emotional she got. I remember that's truly what gave me goosebumps and made me cry. And
Mm.
I tried to go up to her after, but they had to remove me from the building because of my enthusiasm, which
Doctor.
ridiculous. Anyway, she was very she adds lots of pressure to
Mhm.
those who are talking.
I think the piercing eye contact she holds throughout the speech also.
Exactly.
It's like she's talking to you, like at least if I was in the audience.
She's using not only just the guilt of her coming up as a child and her being calm, but her also being so passionate and so educated, showing these world leaders that this matters.
It's a serious issue and it affects all of us equally. We're all living here. We're all going to feel it eventually.
Exactly. And I mean, throughout the whole thing, she really just spoke to the world. And oh, excuse me, you have 5 minutes left in your session. Yes.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I will say, when I was there, before I was kicked out, I did in fact, when she finished the speech, it was just an immediate roar in the audience.
There
Everyone was applauding.
Mhm.
It was so intense, but she stayed so calm, and she had such a look of disdain looking out in the crowd. Because how can you applaud after years of inaction? I might cry again.
Doctor.
I might cry. I'm sorry. I said I wouldn't do this again.
Oh, I think we ran out of tissues last session.
I said I wouldn't do this again during our sessions.
I know. I felt it too listening to her speech. I wasn't there. You're very lucky that you got to be
Thank
there.
you.
But
Thank you.
her directness, everything that had to do with the speech, the language she used, her demeanor throughout, it really placed a responsibility on everyone watching. And I
Exactly.
definitely felt it.
And it inspired all of us. Oh, your session's up.
Well, this was very good.
Thank you.
Wait, doctor, would you ever want to hang out socially?